The journal is a very significant part of the grade for the final project. And it's important both at the beginning and at the end. Now, consider this. When I come in and I look at your WIPS 1 project, there are times that I see, for some students, very little done in DP, which can be okay if the journal is thoroughly fleshed out and explains that you were trying to learn something, program a center, or something like that. On the other hand, if I come in for a certain review of a certain submission and there's significant amounts of work in the DAW, the journal itself doesn't have to be as comprehensive. Does that make sense? So look, I'm no longer supervising you every week with separate assignments. So you do need to be doing work. So if it's a lot in the journal and not as much in the computer or opposite, it's okay. As far as the journal itself goes, sometimes students can misunderstand and they think if you're going to go through your video and say, this is happening now and this is happening now, that's okay. That's good information for you. I don't care. It's not journal information for me. You can put it in your journal entry. It's fine. But I'm going to look past it. You can say, I want to use preset 23 and this sound and all that, and that's good. You can put that in your journal or somewhere else. But again, that's not for me. So the point of the journal is for you to report to me what you're thinking, what you're trying to do, what's working, what isn't working, summarize it at the end and say, this is what I'd like to do when I come back in next time, so that when you come in, you read that and go, okay, that's where I was, and you can pick right back up from there and then report on what worked and what didn't. Here's a couple of examples for you. This is a terrible journal. This was a 0. I've watched the video. I'm not sure if everyone gets one. The scene is gray. The rocket taking off makes me want to copy someone else's song. That's freaking awesome. I might want to yada. None of that, as far as I'm concerned, that's irrelevant. So the first meaningful information in this journal is I'm going to create a track and experiment with sounds. Okay, sounds and synthesizers. That's for the student, not me. I have a melody down. I need to change it. This is in the entire, for me, this is the whole thing, and miserable right here is what this is. This was a 0. This is another poor, not as bad as the last one, but this is poor. I want to create an atmosphere that makes it feel this way. I started with a bass drone. Next I did this. I then chose this. The information being written in here is fine. There's nothing wrong with what they're writing. It's just that there's so little of it. There's no reflection on what worked or what didn't. There's no questions for me, nothing about planning what they're going to do next, on and on. This one, it's getting better. The person came up with an idea. Do I want to go with a horror theme or an adventure theme? Came up with some ideas. And the formatting is really good, but it's like when you write an outline for a paper, if you go insert information about Bob Moog, that's not an outline. Putting in actually specific things would be an outline. Does that make sense? This one's starting to get there. This is okay. And telling me why you couldn't have video cereal for breakfast or whatever, that's irrelevant. And you can write anything you want. It's okay. But it doesn't count for me for your journal entry. You're talking about the video, okay, it doesn't really count. But then you're starting to talk about some specific sounds and then summarizes it here, and then that's all. So that's okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. After about an hour, here's what I've done. They mention a sound, I don't care, but it's only a small part of tweaked some parameters, giving me some specifics. I think my next step will be a drum. I'm going to lay down a drum. I did lay down a drum. Here's what I did. Here's what I used. After a little time, I now have this. I did this. Now it's getting toward the end of my time. This was good, but not great. They didn't actually say specifically. They talked, next time I'll lay down a melodic elements as record and play some samples. It's okay, but it's not real specific. This is a good journal. Video summary. And again, anything by itself is not okay or not okay. You can write all technical information if that's the way your brain works. You can write all about, I need to adjust the blah, 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 blah. That's fine. Or if you only want to talk like this one does, more about general ideas, it's that you're conveying reflection to me. Does all that make sense? While working, next lab goals. So that's a decent journal. So there you go. There's some ideas for you.